As the tech photo guy, I need to say a few words about USB-C, what it means for you, me, the government. Here we go for a little rant. Hey there, Aaron here from TechPhotoGuy.com. I know I published a video yesterday, but I've got to come back here today because I watched the news. I know, made that mistake. We need to talk about USB-C charging because there are people in this world who think that it's a big problem that my on-air sign charges with USB-C, but my iPhone does not. Lots of folks are really pissed about charging cables. The European Union has mandated that by 2024, all smartphones have to charge with USB-C. And now U.S. Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Ed Markey, they are now pushing for the United States government to mandate a smartphone charging standard. So let's talk a little bit about this because there's some issues here, right? So a lot of smartphones have standardized on USB-C. You know, Apple is clearly the big holdout because it's still using its Lightning connector. Apple introduced its 30-pin dock connector with the iPod back in 2003. They introduced Lightning in 2012. That was 9 years later that we had a change from the original 30-pin, kind of the flat dock connector. And you know what happened when Apple introduced that change? A whole bunch of people got really pissed off that now they needed to buy new chargers and cables because in theory, this was just a money-making ploy for Apple. I mean, never mind the fact that Lightning is infinitely superior to that original charging and that it, plugs in easily both directions. You don't even have to look at it. All that aside, that change made people mad. And with the people that are unhappy that the iPhone doesn't use USB-C now, you would think that Apple is continuing to engage in some crazy plot to make them buy new charging cables every year or something like that. And it turns out it's been 10 years now with the Lightning cable on the iPhone. It was 2012. It's now 2022. 10 years we've had the same cable. So folks that are in the Apple ecosystem, people that have iPhones, we've got a lot of Lightning cables lying around. Apple cables, third-party cables, you can get them pretty much everywhere. So what's the issue with forcing Apple, because let's be honest, this is really about Apple. What's the issue with forcing Apple to switch to USB-C for charging the iPhone? There's a couple issues. The first, technologically, is that the federal government in the United States is really not in a good position to be mandating, adapting, and enforcing technological specifications in a rapidly changing market. USB-C is a mess as it is, right? How many different versions of USB-C Thunderbolt that all look the same are there? I get that they can all provide power and charge, but the point is that everything is changing. It doesn't stay the same forever. And if the federal government mandates a particular flavor of USB-C or even USB-C itself, does that hold companies back from innovating with a new technology, something entirely different? Are they going to be forced to have multiple charging ports on the phones now so that they can both meet the federal standard and also innovate with something new? Right? The federal government is not known for moving quickly. And if our technology developments are held back by the government deciding on a new standard that they can get everybody to buy in on, we're just going to be stagnant for a long time. Secondly, even if there were a standard for charging, it would unify smartphones, but there's a lot of other products out there right now that use the Lightning connector like the Apple iPhone. AirPods, AirPods Max, the AirPods Pro, Apple's Magic Trackpad, mice. And there's a lot more products, even more than that are like just one generation old that still use Lightning or that are still functional, very functional, working with Lightning connections. This includes things like iPads, keyboards, Siri remotes. And so the government really doesn't need to step in here. The market can figure this out. If you're somebody that's really insistent that every single thing you own use the same charging connector, great, make your decisions based on that. If you're somebody that wants the best device for the job and you're willing to have, a couple charging cables, great. you're good there too, right? If you're going to have 3 devices, you're going to need 3 charging cables as it is. So, maybe one of them's Lightning. It's not the end of the world. The federal government has a lot of issues they could be focusing their time on right now. Let's really look at, in the United States, is this where we should be spending our energy? Maybe if we're some other country that totally has their act entirely together, maybe this is the biggest issue. But right now, in the United States, in 2022, I'd rather see our politicians spend their time on this list of things. I'll be back at you next week.